Greetings, fellow songwriters and seekers, and welcome back to Muse Measure. If you haven't done so yet, please hit the little guy on the lotus blossom and benefit from all the wonderful questions that you, the viewers, are presenting to me. This one comes from Onion Baby from Berlin. Very, very cool. So he says, I'm a singer and lyricist, but I do not play an instrument. Most of my songs have been written using loops and beats, but I'm beginning to write melodies that don't always fit with these simple musical forms. How can I begin to make backing tracks that match these more complex melodies? It seems like something beyond my grasp. Where should I begin? Well, congratulations on elevating yourself past this basic stuff where you're just you can throw a beat down and come up with something kind of simple. Now you're going into more complex and I think more complex emotions. Complex levels of expression. And so that's really wonderful. You're really developing. And this is a new door you're opening here. So you are about to embark on something really, really cool. Now, there are some shortcuts that you can take that, can maybe give you some satisfaction temporarily. They'll solve this problem temporarily. But I think ultimately that you're not going to find them very satisfying because if you are creating something that is emotionally expressive and you have some kind of backing track that is just not doing it for you anymore, you're going to start to want more control. And this is really exciting because you can now develop even more musically. And now is the time where your skill set is not reaching your aesthetic goals. And that's really great because now any new steps you take towards increasing your musical abilities is going to be that much more meaningful. A lot of times people learn all kinds of things on an instrument and they don't really have anything to say yet. And so a lot of times people hate those lessons and it isn't meaningful. But when you actually have a problem that needs to be solved and you're yearning to be able to express something but can't express it yet, learning these skills all of a sudden has real potency to it and real meaning to it. So this is not a bad problem to have. And I would just say embrace this. But also know that you're not going to be able to be at the level of Beethoven within a week. Maybe you're a super genius. I don't know. Maybe you will be. But just accept that this is a learning process and try to enjoy the process. And it's really, really cool when you learn a new chord or you learn a new skill, especially if it's not too overwhelming and not beyond your grasp. The nice thing about music theory and learning the basics of music is it's all pretty simple, broken down into small little steps. And so just take it one little step at a time. And then maybe, you have these complex melodic ideas. If what you learn doesn't quite fit those yet, just save them for when you can do that. So first of all, the shortcuts. You could use AI. You could throw up your melody, you can sing a melody, throw it up into Suno, or there's other ones. I looked up some of them. There's 11 Labs has something, A Studio has something. You just search for AI background music generator and, you can upload a melody and it will create something in the background for you. Now, that would not be satisfying for me because I'm quite the control freak when it comes to my own music. I want to shape everything, the chord progression, the beat, things like that. I might try experimenting with some of these AI tools if I had just a throwaway melody and I just wanted to see what the tools could do. Or if I was just so desperate I had no idea what to do. But that's not really a problem I have because I have the musical skills. I can come up with my own chord progressions. Now, I've worked with a lot of people in collaboration who were in your same boat. They were very, very talented singers, talented lyricists. They had great musical ideas, but they didn't have the musical training to add the background music, to write the chords, to talk about the formal structures, about how to shape the songs. And so it was great fun working with those people, and that was my job. They'd come to me with a musical idea, and I would find the chords for them. We'd help shape, the structure together, and then we'd create a song together. We'd co-writing. So that's another kind of, maybe not a shortcut, but something that you can actually make a really meaningful connection with somebody else and really connect with a broader community outside of yourself. And this is really what life's all about, is these human connections. And so that's a step that you should take, even if you're planning to add more musical skills, because these people can also teach you these musical skills and help reinforce them. And you're learning them on your own, but you can see what they're doing, and then it's just much more organic to learn that way and much more fun and fulfilling, I think. And this really taps into the spiritual side of things because, this is what life's all about, this creative process. And we have this romantic notion of somebody, toiling away by themselves, the dark night of the soul. But really, the fun of music is making it with other people. Um, I write most of my stuff by myself, but I certainly miss doing that with other people. But I still get together with my bandmates when we're about to record and play with them, and I record with other musicians, and I work with other musicians all the time still. And I wouldn't give that up for anything. That's such a wonderful thing to be able to do. So reach out, tell people what your situation is. There's all these boards online where you can connect with other musicians. Throw up a flyer at a rehearsal space and say, I'm a singer. I've got lots of musical ideas, but I don't play an instrument, so I don't know how to manifest them. And I bet you'll get some people reaching out to you who maybe have the opposite problem. They have lots of training, but maybe that training is kind of solidified and concretized what music is in their mind. And so they can't think outside the box, and they're getting bored with it, and they don't feel very creative. They can't think of song ideas. They can't compose for that reason. And that's the opposite problem. So that might be a great fit for you, a good collaboration. And, speaking of this type of scenario, I have a couple friends that I've done this with. One is Adam Lakes, who's a wonderful songwriter and musician. And when we started out, he was exactly like you. He was a great singer, had all these awesome ideas, was so prolific, came up with like 5-6 ideas a day, which were all great. But he couldn't play the guitar at that point. He couldn't play piano. And so he needed someone to come in and help him out with that. And he was working with Steven Taylor at the time of the Fugs, who was Allen Ginsberg's guitarist. And Steven said, you guys should work together. And we did, and we are still working together to this day. And it's been almost 30 years that we've been working together. He also helped me a lot with this question too. So thank you, Adam. I'll put a link to Adam's music down below. You should definitely check it out. He's a really great songwriter. And very quickly, he picked up guitar, played some keyboards. He already played a little bit of drums in high school, and now he's writing all of his own music, and it's really wonderful. I still work with him. I play guitar on his albums and in his band, play some bass for him. But he doesn't need me to write songs anymore, which is great. So he did that in a matter of months of us collaborating because he really had the passion for it. So it's not this daunting task that you can't hit, right? Another one is David Wesson, who now lives in New Orleans and is in all kinds of bands there and is a Jewish spiritual leader and musician down in New Orleans. And he is a great musical educator. When we first met, he didn't play an instrument, but he sang and had all these ideas. We worked together and collaborated. We made an album together called God's Own Drunk, and we're still great friends to this day. So those connections that you make with other musicians like this are extremely bonding, and you can really make great, long-lasting friendships. So that's reason to do it alone, this collaboration aspect. It is incredibly fulfilling to just learn one chord or how to make a chord when you're first beginning. And you can then, I'm sure, hear all kinds of melodies to do over it. Now, matching your melody to something else, that's going to take a little bit of time probably, but let me just show you really quickly how kind of simple it is to just learn how to play a chord on the piano. So let me bring up my DAW here. This is Soundtrap, which is an online recording studio that I use with my students. So I'll just teach you how to play a major chord on the piano. Whatever the root note is, so that's the name of the chord. It would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and it could be a sharp or a flat. Any of those things, it's always the same formula to play a root position major chord. So take for example, I'll play a D. Okay, so if I want to do a D major chord, the recipe is 4 plus 3. Okay, so that means from the root note, you're going to go 4 half steps. A half step is whatever the closest adjacent key is, okay? So you can move half step up, meaning you're moving to the right on the keyboard, or you can move half steps down, which is to the left. We're going to move to the right. So here's D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So just to explain half steps again, so I'm going to move in half steps up this keyboard. You see, I'm playing every possible black and white key moving up. These are all moving by half steps. We call that a chromatic scale, where you play every single possible note. Well, every single possible note in the Western system. In Hindustani music, you have, I think, 44. I think there's 78 in Arabic music, but we are limited to 11 tempered notes. So here's D, going up. Remember, it's 4 plus 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my second note. Play those two together. Already sounds nice. And then from the second note, which you see is here, F sharp or G flat, you're going to go 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And that gives you the last note of this triad of the chord. Play all 3 together, and you have a major chord. And this works with any root note. You could take, let's say, F sharp or G flat, go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3 more. There you go. So there you have it. And that unlocks 11 possible major chords for you. And if you include all, something could be flat or sharp, that's even more, okay? So this is really, really fun and fulfilling to learn this. And right there, you can just take a couple different chords and you can come up with a chord progression. And then maybe, let's pick another. Let's do E. Same formula, up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then up 3 more. So going back and forth, there's a chord progression. Okay? So just simple things like that. It's so fun to learn this stuff and then write a song using that chord progression. And you can be much more complex. You could have a chord progression with 7 different chords. And the minor version of that is also very, very simple, which I can show you. Now, the flip side of this is that you can start just learning some songs from other people. And just do a Google search for 2-chord songs. Start with that. And pick a couple songs and learn them. And then, as you build your chords on the piano or guitar or whatever chordal instrument you're playing, it's always good to just pick random songs that you really like and listen to it and work on your ear training. Start hearing what the chords are as you're playing. So what you do is you just basically, you play a recording and then you go through all the different chords you know until you match it. And that's another good use of your DAW, is you can just bring in any kind of recording into it and use the loop tool on the top and just loop a certain section of it. So you can just listen to it over and over again until you find the chord. And then eventually, within probably a couple months, you're going to be able to just hear music and go, oh, well, that's that chord progression that I know. That's the heart and soul chord progression. I know that chord progression that song is based on. And so you're developing your ear to be able to hear things. And then eventually you're going to hear your melody and then go, okay, well, what chords would work with this? And you're actually going to be able to maybe play the melody on the piano and then develop that skill. And then once you play the melody on the piano, you can adapt the correct scales for it, and the scales contain the chords. And this all just seems very, very daunting when you first start out with it. Go at your own pace. However much you can do, just to learn a little tiny bit at a time, and it's really going to open up all these possibilities. It's like, a painter who's only been able to paint in yellow for all these years, and then all of a sudden you add a red to it, and then a purple, and it's just going to be really, really exciting for your songwriting capabilities and what you can do with music. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, because I always was somebody who was writing songs, and learning music theory and learning how to play instruments and learning how to play all these chords would just get me so excited and thrilled that I would just want to rush home and write something. And I remember I did that when I was, in elementary school and middle school. I would, instead of going outside and playing with the kids, I would rush home and want to write a song on the piano, especially with new chords that I'd learned. So it really opens up so many possibilities. And you think of it's like a daunting task, but really it's just opening a whole world, and it's going to be fun and exciting as long as you approach it in a way like you're discovering all these new tricks, and you're going to, master them, and then you're going to be able to use them and write these great songs with them. And I hope, Onion Baby, I hope you will share some of your songs with us. Post them down in the comments section. If anyone has any follow-up questions or comments, please put them down below. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you are liking these videos and think you could benefit from them, please subscribe so that we can tell the algorithm that other people might find these videos useful as well. All right. Well, best of luck with your songwriting and your spiritual practice. I'll see you next time on Muse Measure.